I now call on Alec Crowley. 6 minutes maximum, please.
Presiding Officer, thank you. Scottish Labour will support the motion put forward by the Deputy First Minister. If I could pick up on a few points that the Deputy First Minister talked about. He talked about the teacher numbers and teacher-pupil ratio. And I think what was coming across clear at the time when Mr Swinney broke off his negotiations with COSLA was that the majority of local authorities, certainly that I spoke to, were not for reducing the numbers of teachers that they had, but there are some real difficulties in terms of being able to provide teachers. This morning, for example, I talked to Fife Council. The Fife, when the last teacher number ratio was conducted, survey was conducted, Fife was 83 teachers short. That was not because they were not wanting to fund 83 teachers, it was because they were not able to recruit 83 teachers. And I did raise this with the Deputy First Minister previously. In Fife yesterday, their advertising for this August closed yesterday, and they were some 20% down on applicants from last year. They have a major problem in terms of recruitment. The education officials that I spoke to in Fife this morning tell me that it's not just a Fife problem, it's a problem increasingly that all 32 Scottish local authorities are actually facing. And I would ask the Deputy First Minister to take this point up and actually have a look at it, because it's fine saying that he's imposing or he will impose financial sanctions on authorities that don't meet these numbers, but if they're not able to recruit the teachers, then we certainly will have a problem. In Fife's case, they are talking to the General Teaching Council, and they are looking at a major advertising campaign which they're launching for the first time ever. They've went out again to recruit, and they've opened up the recruitment to try and recruit. They tell me that there is a major problem in primary school teachers. There's also a major problem in terms of the STEM subjects. Trying to recruit English and Maths, drama, biology, chemistry. There are major issues there. So the Scottish Government, I would suggest, cannot simply say you will provide or we'll cut your numbers if the teachers are not coming through. I understand that there is an increase this year in the number of probationary teachers coming through, but I do say the Scottish Government can't ignore what I'm saying to you today, and I would ask an assurance that you take that on board and look at it. In terms of the settlement itself, we are seeing this year again a real terms cash cut in terms of the funding that's going to local government. Mr Swinney says that he's fully funding the council tax freeze. Local authorities would beg to differ and would argue that there's something like 10 million short. It should be up to over 80 million that would be going in this year. However, Mr Swinney would say that your own budget is cut by 10% and that is being passed on. Some authorities are taking substantial cuts. Edinburgh, for example, 20%, Renfrew 17%. So some authorities are taking larger cuts than other authorities, and I think that needs to be recognised. And whilst it may, under the present circumstances, seem like a reasonable settlement given where the government's at, and I didn't really want to get into an argument that it is or it's not, what I would say, and I think what has been acknowledged previously, is that local authorities will find this year very, very difficult. And as they go forward, they find it more difficult, because what these settlements fail to take on board is the level of demand that's increasing for services like health and social care. There's a major demand in those types of services, and as that demand grows, budgets are falling, so local authorities are finding it very difficult, and we will see this year cuts in frontline services right across Scotland. So, I would say that local authorities are finding it very difficult, but under those circumstances, they're working very hard. I do think that we need to look at the community planning partnerships and actually look at how those partnerships are delivering, because as we see The demographics tell us that people are living longer, the demand on health and social care services. We also see in local authorities that the number of children being taken into care is actually on the increase, and that's adding massive pressure to the budgets on local authorities. So a strategy that looks at the underlying root causes of poverty, and we start to address these issues back, I suppose, to the Christie report. And the Christie report was hailed as being the way forward for public services in Scotland. I'm not sure to the extent that we're actually delivering on that. And in the brief time that I've got, one other issue I would like to raise with the Deputy First Minister is that local authorities across Scotland fund the care home services. They buy the places within the care homes.
You must draw to a close, please.
It's an area that I would like to see us focus on in terms of the living wage. What is a care worker worth? And in the private sector, the majority of workers are paid the minimum wage, and we need to address that.
Thank you. I call on Cameron.